Okay.
Huh?
I said, okay,
Okay.
we're here again.
We're here again. Friday.
Yep.
Friday.
Every Friday.
So, what we thought we would talk about today is local business, locally owned and operated, all the things you hear all the time.
Yes.
Local agents. So, I'm going to start with the realtors and then
Okay.
we'll get into the franchises. But realtors, I can count on one hand where the owner is present in any of these brokerages. Usually
Well,
your broker's remote.
they're present, but
They're
they're not
present,
here.
but they're not. They physically don't have a desk in your office.
Right.
You still have a broker, but the agents live locally. They work locally.
Now we've
They're
seen this.
local.
We've seen this as a trend because we've been in this 18 years.
Hmm.
So we've seen this as a trend. I want to say probably in about the past 10 years that it's really started to take off on these cloud-based
Yes.
brokerages, and you
Yes.
have the EXPs, the Keller Williams, the Real Broker, now
Epic,
Epic, Compass.
Exit, Compass,
There's so many of them.
Redfin, all of them.
Right. And so once like that Zillow world kicked off, these cloud-based
Oh
brokerages kicked
yeah,
off, and we even interviewed with one, JPAR,
JPR.
where they talked about they had 15 brokers on standby, call-wise, that you could call
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah.
So a lot of businesses have gone to that, and so the old school mentality of the brick and mortar, your broker sitting in their office, which we have had, and it taught us so much
It did.
tremendously over the years. But those
It
times
was
are
right for the time,
it was
though.
right for the timing, and so those times have kind of gone
They're kind of
away
going
and
away.
aren't as
As
necessary
far as,
anymore.
as somebody walking in the door, doubtful.
Right.
Everything they do online. So what I can suggest is get a local agent.
Oh, absolutely.
Their broker. I mean, what I saw on one example was it was a state broker.
Hmm.
They handled all
The entire state.
the entire state of these different little
Entities.
companies that were opened up, but it was just you have a state broker.
Well, and then let's be real, most of these brokerages, those small, not smaller ones, but the more cloud-based ones, the majority of those people are on teams, and there
Yes.
is somebody that does have to take a broker responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of people here that are very
Mm-hmm.
educated and getting your immediate needs met. And if you don't have a local broker, so we know that even with Coldwell Banker here, which is a large franchise,
No local broker.
and then even our broker,
Mm-hmm.
but our broker is a text or a phone call away, or if he's not immediately available, he has a secondary broker. I mean, we have
He's got a
outlets.
chain of three of them.
We have outlets that an immediate 911 were good,
Mm-hmm.
but you and I both have had to take broker responsibility. Sam on our team is a broker herself, so
Mm-hmm.
we can usually navigate quite a bit. But when
Oh
we
yeah.
get in that pickle, we have those abilities. So I don't ever look down on anything for remote brokers. The majority of the companies around here do have.
I never even thought about it
No,
when EXP came in or Keller Williams came in. I never thought about it.
no, Coldwell Banker. She lives in Dallas.
Never thought about it. And
No.
and some people want to raise the only use local. Well, we're local. We're
Yeah.
local.
We're local. 28 years local.
No, 18.
28 that we've lived here.
Oh, that we've lived here. Yeah, we've lived in Abilene 28 years, but been in business 18 of that locally.
Locally.
So
we're still local agents, and we still know all of the local spots, the
right.
local businesses. We know how the market works here. We no different than any other time. So we've harped on that. We tried to do a full campaign of like, look, your local
area experts.
Because we do know the local area. We do know
Mm-hmm.
the local market. And so the more we looked at that and we could see that, hey, these brokerages aren't. There's
No,
not.
They're not.
I could maybe 3 that I could count
Maybe.
on my hand
Maybe.
that are local owners.
Right.
And they're all great people.
They're great people, but
it doesn't make it any different.
But again, I go back to what Seth said.
Yes, my son.
My grandson. He said they're only calling an agent now to verify what they've already seen online.
Right.
So it's not like I'm going to walk in and sit down. And
Now, granted, we did have that, right? How many times when we first started at
Oh
Remax Abilene,
my gosh,
all the time.
we had to work double time on Saturdays.
Yep.
You know, one of us would have what they call floor time, and it would take both of us there because not only was the phone blowing off the hook, they were walking in the doors,
Yes.
and it was crazy. But you could watch that dwindle
Yes.
over the years, and it finally just came to a screeching halt.
And it came with like everything else, right? The internet based
Hmm.
searches and the things like that. And, then COVID really amplified that because people were stuck at home. That's
Yes,
the
yes.
socialization aspect of all of that. Everything just,
COVID solidified it.
yes,
It because you didn't. They found out. Yeah, I don't have to.
right,
I don't have to go anywhere. I
right,
can do all this right here.
right. And so
Um,
we all figured, and us too as agents had to navigate that
mhm.
of, okay, hold on, I can do this meeting here, I can do this meeting here, and Zoom
I
became
can
very popular.
Zoom, and then Showing Time came up with a thing where you could schedule the virtual tour with
Yes,
the client, and
yes,
you're walking it with them on your phone.
right,
So there's ways to do it. There's ways not. But my point on that is, just because the broker is not there
right,
does not mean they're not local. We are local. We are all local
right.
that work here. We live and work in Abilene. We pay our taxes in Abilene. We contribute to the economy. We're local. So now that throws me into a whole other gamut of franchises.
Well, we see it all the time, and I will say that it is one thing I really love about the Appling community. Not just like, but I do love it, and it is a huge support local campaign that we see year after year. We're known for small business is here, and the majority of the people you come across own something,
Yeah.
and it's awesome, right? We have the farmers market, and it's where Sam and Kayla have so many outlets for their
Yeah. And we have so
wicked,
many cute businesses here. And
adorable bakeries and
yeah.
boutiques and
Yeah.
all of this. But
Okay, so let me throw this at you. What about Cheddar's?
right,
What about Chick-fil-A?
right.
Chick-fil-A is adored here.
Oh yeah, Chick-fil-A is huge, and we know Brian and Melanie.
Mhm. There's a Chick-fil-A in New York.
Right, and we know Heather over on the
Yeah.
north side. But the big deal about that is they are big franchises,
Hmm.
but they are locally
They're
owned.
locally
The
owned.
majority of them are locally owned.
Yes.
McDonald's, Sonic,
Those are local owners.
local owners that have bought into
You
this
bought a
franchise.
franchise.
And you have your big box stores, of course. You have the Walmarts and
Oh,
the
well, sure.
Targets and
Sure.
United and things like that. But even with that, the employees of those stores
Are
are
local.
local. So it just blows my mind when
It,
people get upset and they're like, no, don't eat at Chick-fil-A. You need to eat over here because this is a local owned business. Well, so is
also is
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
And the
And
owners there are local and they're pouring into the economy, and their workers are local
hmm
and pouring
pouring into
into
the
the economy.
economy.
So it's
They're
all
getting sales tax revenue, and
right.
I promise if all that went away, you wouldn't want it to go away because you couldn't afford to live here.
Right.
Your property
Right.
tax would be so egregious that you couldn't buy a house.
Right. And our community is great in supporting local businesses.
100%.
And there are the price differences and cost differences, between going small business and a bigger
Hmm.
chain.
Hmm.
And I love the variety of everything we have
We got a
here.
little bit of everything, and I think we all need to support everyone
Everyone.
because I think it often gets kicked to the wayside that they forget these are local owners.
They are local owners, absolutely. So like
Yeah.
you said, Cheddar's like, sorry, Cheddar's, but I'm going to Life of Pie for my chicken pot pie.
Heck,
You
yes.
know? And is it going to be a little more expensive?
But we've got
Yep.
even realtors in the community own some franchises around
Absolutely.
here. So
And title companies.
title companies, they've got, yeah,
There's a whole title company owned by realtors.
but they just, I don't,
But the title company isn't locally owned, which is funny,
no,
right? The title company is based out of Plano,
Plano.
based out of Plano, but agents here own shares in it.
Uh-huh.
And so that's local and not local. But then the
Local
people running the title company here
are
local.
local.
So it's it's so
So it
bizarre
just
to me that people put those two and take them apart.
take them apart.
And
They
there's
discount it. They
yeah,
discount it. Kind of like recently, one of our little rural communities, they managed to throw such a fit, they shut the IHOP down. And IHOP.
IHOP, yes.
And I'm like, how did you shut an IHOP down? They boycotted
They
it.
boycotted it,
They
refused to
they
work there.
wouldn't work there. They wouldn't eat there, and through such a stink, they just shut the IHOP. I'm like,
Yeah,
how do you
there wasn't
shut an
even
IHOP? Not even a year.
not even a year, which is so crazy.
And
And here was the crazy part of that is where it was at was on the interstate.
interstate.
It wasn't in
No,
the community. It was on the
no, it
traveling
was
interstate through the
yes,
community.
yes, for
So,
travelers. So
and it's a shame to me, not necessarily that they shut the business down, but those are jobs.
they've lost revenue.
Those were jobs.
But they've lost revenue. The
Yeah,
city
absolutely.
lost
They
revenue.
lost revenue from the people being
Mhm,
paid to work
mhm.
there to put back into
Yes,
their town.
yes.
And
So I am all about capitalism, and I think towns should allow growth, and I think everybody who's loyal to the mom and pops are going to still be loyal to the mom and pops.
we are.
We are, and new people that come to town love to shop the mom and pops.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a place for these big franchises to come in.
Yeah.
There's definitely a place because they're going to have a whole lot more tax revenue than the smaller business.
Right.
And it doesn't take away. I think they work in harmony together.
Well, it kind of goes to like the mass production, right? So, like I said, I'll just take the silly chicken pot pie example, right? The quality of what I'm getting over here
At Life of Pie is so much better than what I'm getting at Cheddar's because Cheddar's gets them in a big case frozen and they throw it in the oven.
Right.
She hand makes it.
She hand makes it.
So now, does that stop me from going to Cheddar's?
Absolutely not. No.
I'll still go there. But if I just want
that moment,
that environment, that ambiance, that warm hug,
yes,
from our little local businesses, smaller businesses, and that's where I'm going to go.
Right.
I mean, I've done it with clothes, I've done it with shoes, and
the variety, to have the
variety.
But the point of it is even in the variety, everybody you're coming in contact with of those businesses, it's still locally based.
Local.
It all comes to local.
They're local.
And so I get really sick of hearing it. Real estate because that affects us.
It does affect us.
How people look at that.
How they perceive us. Oh, they're not local. They're brokers out of Houston. Well,
right.
But we've been here 18 years.
We've been here 18 years, and our broker was local until she passed away. And there was an option there, or it was a step we had to make. We chose to align ourselves with the business model.
Long before another Remax hit the ground here.
Absolutely.
So we knew what was happening there, and the best thing we could do is get ourselves placed. And we knew this broker. We'd known him for about 4 years, so we got ourselves placed there.
Tried the smoothest transition for us.
What is the quickest and easiest way we can still keep going?
Right.
Locally.
So I feel
and it's worked out well, and I get asked a lot, well, why don't you just move? Well, I'm not a mover.
Right.
I'm with Remax. I'm still Remax.
Right.
I just have a different broker. It's all one balloon.
Yes.
To me.
Yes, absolutely.
To me, it's all one balloon.
It is still just one balloon, and they're a great company over there as well. And they're local as well, just as we are.
Just as we are.
So it's no different.
Just as we are. And there is another one that has a remote Remax broker here.
Right.
With local agents.
Right.
So
yeah, the honing in on it has always just baffled me, because when we do look at the bigger picture around here, and we do have these other brokerages, their brokers have never been local.
No.
So I mean, it's not like we didn't dive into anything.
We didn't start this.
We didn't start it. We weren't the trendsetters for it by any means.
Right.
But we did research.
We've been accused of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is that it's real estate.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, it's real estate. Like stuff like that happens all the time. But it's everybody. So then
Mhm.
that is, yeah, absolutely. When you start thinking of it that way and you start looking around and you're like, oh wait,
It's all
Brian
local.
and Melanie own this Chick-fil-A,
It's
and
all
Heather and
local.
her husband over here own this Chick-fil-A,
Mhm.
and everything's local. Amber Kimmel owns
Amber,
the
if I want
lash
to go get my
extension.
lashes done, it's a franchise, but it's local.
Right, right. Our
Um,
mortgage lenders. So that even made us start thinking about that. Our mortgage lenders, none of their offices are,
they're
there's
sending
no
it out to
corporate, right,
investors, and those investors aren't sitting here in
right,
the office waiting.
right.
They're not local,
They're
but
corporate
but your
businesses,
lender is local.
right?
Take First Financial Bank. They're
Yes,
mortgage brokers. They have investors,
right.
but they're local.
They're
So
local.
it yeah, this could go on and on and on and
It
on.
can. So I think the word local needs a different perspective when people look at what's actually local,
I kind of like your trusted professionals.
right?
We're trusted professionals,
Well, you're
and
local trusted
your
professionals.
local
We are
trusted
local.
professionals.
They are
So
local.
it's just, it I don't know what everybody's concept on local is, but
Yeah,
every business I go in has people from Abilene or Clyde or Tuscola or Baird or wherever working there
right,
in our local communities. So
right.
you know,
So,
anyway, that's my rant for today.
yes, yes. So,
Not
yes.
really a rant. I just want to kind of build awareness
Well,
that
and
it's all local.
I have it even on my whole little dissertation of myself,
Yeah.
of supporter of local community, and
Yes.
I am. Now, even so, I'm going to just throw a plot twist in there. We're in a military town. Nobody's local.
Nobody's local.
So
Nobody's local.
everybody's come in from overseas,
Somewhere,
different states.
somewhere,
But when you're in the community, you are local,
you're
and we
local.
should support each other.
Mm-hmm.
Realtors, lenders, inspectors, appraisers, title companies, everybody alike,
Mm-hmm.
all of these businesses.
Yep.
That's what makes a community.
Oh,
And that's what
100%.
makes it local.
100%.
So, yeah, keep supporting local. And that means everybody,
Means
every
everybody. That
business.
means your kid working at Sonic on the weekends to try to earn extra money for their activities.
Right.
Sonic is locally owned.
Yes. Well, I
Um,
worked at Sonic as a
yes, so
teenager,
they're locally owned. It's a
and
franchise,
the owner was
but
local.
keep that in mind. Your teenager is working
Yep.
locally,
Right.
so it's all local.
It's all local,
It's all
and
local.
the money comes back into the community, and the more we support the community and all businesses,
Hmm.
the more prosperous our community continues to
Absolutely,
be.
absolutely.
So,
Okay.
anyway. All right.
Well, I'm gonna
Well,
go eat local.
well, I brought an omelet.
Was it locally? It was
It
local. Those
was
were fresh eggs.
farm fresh eggs from our local horse trainers. So, yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh. So anyway, we'll catch y'all next week. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about then, but I'm sure it'll be something.
Well, we do have the top 500 convention we're going to
Yes.
next week for the state of Texas, because the Russell Rose team did make the list. And so I'm sure we will have a lot that we're going to experience there that we'll be able to come back and give out to everybody else.
Right.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.